Good evening and Happy New Year. Welcome to City of Opa-locka Commission Meeting, January 12th, 2022, 7 p.m. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bass.
I'm here.
Commissioner Davis.
Here.
Vice Mayor Taylor.
Here.
Mayor Williams.
Here. Commissioner Taylor, invocation, please.
God, we thank you for bringing us together one more time in your name. God, we ask for peace, that you will come into this meeting, God, and give us the wisdom to lead your people the right way, your way. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Pledge of allegiance. At this time, if we have any awards, proclamations, and acknowledgements, and at this time, we will now swear in our new commissioner, Commissioner Audrey Dominguez. Clap, 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 clap. All right, awesome.
You're gonna have to raise your right hand and then you're gonna hold the Bible and she's gonna put one hand on it. But come. Okay. You wanna put them? Okay. So do I just read it to repeat it? Yeah. Okay, all right. Just up to here. Okay. All right, let me know. Is it fine? I state your name,
Audrey Dominguez,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect,
protect,
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and will obey the laws
and will obey the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Florida,
and the state of Florida,
that I will,
in all respects,
observe the provisions of the Charter
preserve the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances
and ordinances
of the City of Opa-locka,
of the city of Opa-locka,
and I will faithfully perform the duties
and I will faithfully perform the duties
of Commissioner for the City of Opa-locka,
of Commissioner of the city of Opa-locka,
Florida,
Florida,
on which I am now
of which I am now
about to enter.
about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God. Good evening, everyone. Audrey Dominguez here. I just want to thank God for giving me this opportunity, not only for serving as a commissioner of Opa-locka, but also for being the first Hispanic woman to serve as a commissioner, and to God be the glory. Of course, I have to thank my mom that's in heaven. She was my #1 supporter. My daughters, Nina, which is present, Rebecca, who's watching online. They've always been by my side and given me advice and support. My friends that are present, that I've known for 30, maybe 15 years. Madeline, Martha, please stand or wave. Those are my friends, those are my girls. My coworkers. I have my boss here, Ms. Denise Troop. Thank you for coming. My coworkers that are also here. My neighbors, some that I have known for over 10 years and some that are new, that are come to support me. I thank you so much. I also like to thank Pastor Cruz, his wife, please wave. The congregation, thank you for welcoming me into your church and to be part of the family. And thank you for all your support. And as the Vice Mayor said, and then we were 4, and now we're 5. And I have named it the Commission, the Fantastic 5. Together, we will move this city forward with the help and the support of the residents, businesses, and staff. I am Opa-locka. Yo soy Opa-locka.
Isn't she going the wrong way? Isn't she going the wrong way? Commissioner Dominguez, you're going the wrong way.
No, I'm gonna call her up fast. And at this time, our newly sworn commissioner will join us on the dais. Okay, at this time, our Star of Excellence Recognition Award.
Madam Mayor, may I?
Yes,
The Star of Excellence Award for the city of Opa-locka is a very, very significant award. As city manager, I am very, very stringent on the quality of applicants that we get for this award because the level of prestigiousness of it. We have not given the award consistently. It's my hopes moving forward that we have our directors recommend our employees for this esteemed award, because I think it's important to recognize our employees, because as city manager, I cannot be successful by just being me. I am successful by our employees, all of our employees. As everybody knows, I have a sincere and dear love for our lowest level employees, our line level staff who runs the city on a daily basis. Some of our departments are thin with employees and manpower, but we still get the job done. Our focus has been beautification. Our public works department has been doing a phenomenal job in beautifying our city. Even though we're not there yet and we have much more work to do, it is important, it is essential that our employees are recognized. Our human resource department is the heart of the city, and I look forward in 2022 that department expands its responsibilities in recognizing and taking care of our employees. Because the Human Resources Department is the only department that really doesn't touch the public. That department is essential to the day-to-day operations of the city and is the heartbeat of any organization. In saying that, it is my honor to present these awards today. As everybody knows, I have a true love for law enforcement and true love for the police department. So it's my honor today to present the award to law enforcement personnel of our city. Madam Mayor, if you can give the floor to Ms. Ward and we can get started, that would be awesome. Can we give the floor to Ms. Ward?
Yes, Ms. Ward, you have the floor.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year to everyone. At this time, it's a great honor to present our Star of Excellence Awards to 5 of our esteemed police officers. I would like to now call up our police administration, Chief Jackson, Assistant Chief Jenkins, and Captain Rogers to actually give and present the award to our 5 officers. And Sergeant Giannis, I apologize.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the commission, city manager. We would like to present to these officers the Star of Excellence Award for their bravery and their courage. On October the 2nd, 2021, these officers that are assigned to the midnight shift, they responded to an address here in Opa-locka at 1231 Sesame Street and for reports of shots that were fired in the area. The officers responded and they were directed to an efficiency of residents there and they observed the male inside. The officers gave him commands to step out with his hands up. He refused. After several attempts, he opened the door and a brief struggle ensued, where the officers had to struggle with the subject before they were able to take him into custody. He was able to be taken into custody without incident. And then those officers went inside the residence and located a female victim who had sustained a gunshot wound to her chest. The officers, one in particular, Officer Stanley Jean Francois, made contact with that female victim and began life-saving techniques. He put a compression on the wound, and fire rescue was able to respond and transport the female victim to the hospital. And as a result of these officers and their actions and their bravery that night, that subject was arrested and that female victim is alive today. So for these officers and their bravery and their courage and their quick action on that evening, we would like to present to them the Star of Excellence Award. Officer Ivis Bustillo. Officer Stanley Jean Francois. Officer Huguette Dumeis. The next 2 officers, I'm going to call their names out into the record, but they aren't able to be with us here tonight. Officer Marie Noel Fenelon. And finally, Detective Bradley St. Ain.
Thank you, Captain Rogers. At this time, I just also want to personally give thanks to Sergeant Giannis for making the nominations for the officers on her squad, because it does take a lot to actually develop a narrative, send it over to Human Resources and follow up on it for recognition. If the mayor and commission don't mind, would you mind to come down and take a photo with the officers? Mr. Pate?
Yes.
I just requested coffee, but okay. I told Randy I want peanuts. He said chicken. You want some same size? Okay. Okay, moving on. Once again, congratulations and for the Star of Excellence Recognition Award. Moving to our approval of our consent agenda. If we have any deferrals and deletions at this time, I'm going to pull number 7.
Madam Mayor,
Vice Mayor Taylor,
I want to pull number 6.
anyone else? Okay, okay. We now need to approve the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dominguez. Roll call.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass. Yes. Mayor Williams.
Yes. We now need to approve our minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the virtual workshop meeting minutes on April 21st, 2021?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Davis,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass. Yes. Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Need a motion to approve our regular commission meeting minutes, December 8th, 2021.
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass. Yes. Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, if we have any District 1 or District 2 County Commission reports? Okay,
There are none, Madam Mayor.
okay, there are none. Thank you. At this time, are there any public presentations?
There are none, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. We're now moving on to citizens forum. If you can read the notes into record, Madam Clerk.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening. City of Opa-locka Commission meetings are held in person at Shabandi Village Auditorium, 215 Purvis Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida. Members of the public wishing to address the commission may do so in person or virtually. Those persons wishing to participate virtually should register prior to the scheduled meeting time on the city's website at www.opalockafl.gov. When speaking before the commission, please make sure to give your full name and address for the record. There is a 3-minute time limit for public comments. Please adhere to the decorum policy, which is part of the commission meeting agenda. City commission meetings are aired through live stream at www.youtube.com/user/City of Opa-locka. Thank you, Madam Mayor, and
Citizens forum is now open.
Madam Mayor, there are no virtual speakers at this time. Nobody virtually.
no, there aren't any. I was trying to double check. Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Good evening, 13831 Northwest 24th Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida. I come to address an issue that I brought up, I think, months ago about the guys who clean the alleyways, the group who clean the alleyways. I think a month ago, I suggested that possibly we hire some guys within Opa-locka instead of hiring them. But I just wanted to address it, the fact that lately I've been paying close attention when they clean the alleyways, they leave trash in the alleyways. I don't know if we have anybody that go behind them to check behind them. They leave trash in the alleyways. Also, when they cut the trees or whatever in the alleyway, they bring it out and they leave it on the curb side, which usually when the code enforcement somebody come by, they address it to that individual, whoever house is by. But if you notice, if somebody can go behind them and look in the alleyways, lately they cut it, they leave all the paper and the trash down the alleyways. I got some recent pictures of the last time they cut it, and they bring the trash, whatever trees and whatever they did, and they just leave it on the side. I know they got that big truck, they put it on and take it with them, but they ain't been doing nothing but just scamming through. You know, I wish it could be addressed, or either get rid of them and hire some guys within. I think we'll save a lot of money.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commission. My name is Dottie Johnson. I reside at 13724 Northwest 22nd Place. First of all, congratulations to Commissioner Dominguez. And Vice Mayor, thank you for checking on me. I'm good. First of all, I'm a little concerned about what I'm hearing about salaries for the low-level employees. I don't know what's going on, but if you got any residual monies, those employees need to be looked into. Secondly, is all over national news about our police department. Now, I know it's an ongoing investigation going on, but I actually come from a law enforcement family. My major was criminology and police science. And I'm getting some undisturbing conversations from officers that's worked here. Opa-locka has been a training ground for years with officers. We got to do the right thing. We can't turn our heads on issues. My prayer is that all corruption in this city be unveiled. May you be blessed in making your decisions. And again, to my friend from a different mother, congratulations.
Congratulations, Audrey Dominguez. Thank God you have one Spanish people in the city of Opa-locka in 2022. Because each one here or before for 50 years living in Opa-locka, not do nothing for the city. I pray every day to see something new. Because what I see, the city looking like a junk. First, it's worse, close to the park. Nothing for the children. Garbage everywhere. Beer when the children play. Nothing to beautiful here. It's worse. I don't know, each one here is new. Miss Bass, Miss William, John Taylor. It's something more. Blah, 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 not do nothing. Miss Bass, how long you there? Sometimes I say hello to you, you ignoring me. You know why? Because you don't do nothing for the city. You don't do nothing for the Opa-locka people. It's a lot of Hispanic people here.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, Miss William, you already know me.
No, I know, but you cannot bash. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I'm just warning one.
Yeah.
No bashing of any
No,
commissioners up
listen,
here.
you know why I say that? Because already I talked to you one day about last week. A lot of people, city, Hispanic people, both ignoring her, ignoring the people living in Opa-locka. Try to do the best. See, you everybody sit down in there, do something for the city looking well.
Hello, Natasha Irvin, 670 Dunat Avenue. Happy New Year to all. I'm not sure if you, well, I want to thank everybody for coming out and seeing the toy drive, but as an organizer of the toy drive for years, I always had Commissioner Burke with me, so this year was the hardest year. We didn't get as much donations as we usually get, but we made it happen. And there was I want to share with you a little thing that happened. I told Chris, my partner in crime, that we did not have enough bikes. I said, I'm not satisfied with the amount of bikes we have. So the day of the toy drive at 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm heading to Walmart to personally purchase more. And Chris says to me, Natasha, you have to trust God. Do not go and buy any more bikes. And I said, you're right. But I wanted us to have the 100 bikes that we always have every year for the kids. And donations were down, and I could understand with the pandemic and all. But I came back to Shabundy Park, and we're getting things together. And the whole time I'm always doing this with Burke. We're talking about it, even though he's not physically here. And this door over here opened, and Joanna came through the door with so many bicycles that it made my day. And I said, this is Burke still working in this city to make sure that things are okay for us. And I think that, and I think I have a few business owners that still gave money, like Mr. Vega, who's still here with us today. And even Commissioner Burke's retirement, corrections retirement people, they gave us a nice check as well. I was glad for the few people that know that we were still doing this, that they still looked out and called me. What can we do? We still want to do something. Our photographer, our Santa Claus were Commissioner Burke's friends. And I'm very thankful for that. Thank you all for coming and supporting us with that. I too have some concern about our police department, because I don't want anybody coming and doing nice shows and the real problems are behind the show. I have a problem with that. And I want for 2022 for us to be the best us we can be. I get tired of defending Opa-locka against people that don't know us. Like, I really want us to be that all we can be. And I'm here to help in any way I can. And I say that on behalf of me, the Booster Club, Parks, everybody. We're here to make it happen. Whatever we're needed, we're here. That's my time. My time is up. I thank you very much. Have a nice night.
Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed.
Madam Mayor, if I may, I know traditionally commission typically makes comments before the city manager, but if we can today, if you can allow me to make comments first before the commission, it would be greatly appreciated. Yeah.
Okay, is the commission okay with that? Okay, Mr. Manager.
Thank you. I thank everybody today who made comments at our public forum. First, Happy New Year to everybody. I am grateful for our public that comes and make our public comments. I actually, for the year 22, promote more people to come up and make public comments. I had a very long conversation with the mayor last week in regards to our public being awake and coming to our meetings and being able to voice their concerns to drive change in Opa-locka. A lot of decisions are made by this dais and myself in regards to the operations of the city. And this year, I would like to have more public input as far as what you want to see in your city. So we won't independently in our offices make decisions on behalf of the residents without resident input. So I encourage our residents to speak more. I encourage more workshops. I encourage more engagement. Myself and the mayor are planning to schedule a town hall in the recent future just to hear public comments. And we're going to promote this like crazy to make sure we get all our public to come out to make comments in regards to how they want to see their city. I strive every day to be the best manager that I can be. But I am only successful with the input of our public, the support of my staff, the engagement from our directors, and most importantly, input from this commission, who I work for on a daily basis to make the city the best city possible. As far as alleyways are concerned, I thank the gentleman for coming up and speaking on that matter. We are in the process of rejecting an RFP that we have in regards to a company to come out and do this. Unfortunately, last time we put this out to RFP, only one company put in. We did not agree with that. Our state of Florida did not agree with that. We don't support that. So we'll be rejecting that and putting that out to bid shortly. So please bear with us as we look for another organization to support our public works department in doing that, because debris should not be left. That company should pick up that debris and dispose of it. And it should not be left for our public works department to do. And that's what's been done. And our public works department is working in a very lean staff. And I'm proud to say we've done several hires within our public works department to address those matters. but more needs to be done, and I agree. So thank you. As far as salary for lower level employees, we are currently engaged in negotiations with both ASME and PBA consecutively and concurrently at the same time. We have negotiated outstanding salary package for our ASME employees. We're just going into negotiations to fine tune some other areas of the contract, and the contract will be brought before the commission for ratification. And I think our ASME employees will be happy with the salary increases they will see, the bonuses that they will receive, and the acknowledgement they will get for the hard work they've done for the city of Opa-locka. So that is forthcoming. Same for the police department. We are engaged in negotiations tomorrow to continue negotiations, hopefully come up with a strong salary package for our police officers, so Opa-locka will not be a training ground, so we can maintain our law enforcement personnel here. So that is a work in progress. Once these contracts are ratified, salaries will be increased appropriately. Appropriate bonuses will be given for the long time, over 10 years. These contracts have not been addressed. So understand, I'm coming as a manager, 10 years. These contracts have not been addressed. And it's both the city and the union's fault. It's the city's fault because we turned over managers like crazy and there was no way to negotiate without a city manager in place. It's the union's issue because they, be perfectly honest, we should have filed an unfair labor practice to initiate or force that. But at this point, we're going through the negotiation process. We're doing the appropriate things legally and we're addressing it. So we are moving forward with that. As far as corruption is concerned, there is a difference. There is a difference between corruption that's going on and wrongdoing that's going on, okay? Any corruption that's going on in the city is being appropriately addressed to the appropriate parties, and it takes time for the process to go through. As far as the wrongdoing of personnel, that's being addressed appropriately as a personnel matter. As far as the police department is concerned, we have a very strong chief of police in place that is overseeing that process, and any and all disciplinary actions will be taken. As city manager, I've always held employees accountable for their actions. Employees have been terminated and let go from this city more since I've been city manager than in the past. So we are addressing issues as far as employee misconduct and employee issues. So that is an ongoing process. We are addressing it. We are ahead of it. And regardless of the bad press that Opa-locka gets, we're moving forward. It is important, I think it's essential that this year we promote the positive things that goes on in this city. The roads that have been paved, the sidewalks that have been installed, lighting in Ingram Park that has been done. This city has regressed significantly in 2 years I've been here. We've done more, we've accomplished more, and we're doing more in 2022. We have a strong staff. We're hiring stronger staff. We're addressing our issues, and we're going to make Opa-locka a better place. Beautification is on my priority in 2022 to make the city look better, to address the issues, to make us a premier city. Understand, it is important and essential, and I say this to my staff every day. We continue to be haunted by the past. As long as we hold on to the past, we cannot move into the future. We have to think about the future of this city, not being stuck in the past of this city. And we're making excellent progress. We're making significant progress. I have an annual report that will be released within the next 2 weeks. Mailers will be going out to all residents. There will be a performance document that's available for residents to pull online as well as pick up physically. And it speaks on the accomplishments of this city over the past 2 years and the future that we're going to take the city beyond. We have outstanding days. We have strong commissioners here that move the city forward. I strongly recommend the public to engage our commissioners. I strongly recommend the public to engage my office as far as their concerns. As everybody knows, at least the people that came up to the podium know, that any concern that's brought to me is addressed immediately. If I don't know, I can't address it. So I encourage everyone in this room to please come to me to address your issues. Please, please go to the horse's mouth in regards to rumors and conjectures of this city. If there's any issues with the police department and officers are speaking to members of the public or even maybe members of this day is in regards to issues with the agency, I strongly suggest that you go to our police chief to address your issues, your concerns, and address rumors and conjectures. Because this police chief is going to be a police chief for this department for a very long time. And so he needs to know what he needs to do to move his agency forward. He's been doing an excellent job. Thank you so much, Chief Jackson, for being here, supporting me, supporting the city, and really, really being an open ear to me as far as the movement of this law enforcement agency. As far as the toy drive, excellent job. Excellent job. We had 2 toy drives going on this year, one sponsored by Commissioner Taylor and Upper Bound, one sponsored by Optimus and I say Commissioner Burke's friends and family. I would say last year was the first year where the city donated significant funds to the toy drive to ensure it was successful and we had enough toys for all kids of this city. And we'll move forward in providing those funds to make sure our toy drives are even more successful. Madam Mayor, I thank you for this moment. I thank you for this time. I apologize for my long-windedness, but I think in the new year, it's really significant that I kind of speak on these things directly and head on. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, if I can just
Yes.
correct the record. I think Mr. Pate was speaking freely, but there is no legal basis for an unfair labor practices grievance from the unions. And so I just want to make sure that's on the record so that what was said is in no way used against us, because there's been no legal determination of that. And I do not believe that is the case. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney and Madam Mr. Manager. Are there any comments from the commission at this time?
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner Dominguez?
I wanted to, the gentleman that spoke regarding the garbage in the alleyway. It so happens that this week, my neighbor brought it to my attention regarding junk in the backyard in the alleyway. So she showed me, I went to the back. And what I saw was a metal shoe rack, headboard, a car bumper, a bath stand. I didn't have a chance to report it because it was just like a day or two, but she did bring it to my attention. The good thing that she's such a mover that she actually found someone to take the garbage that was back there because it was metal. So you know that people are always picking up metal from your houses and stuff. So it was picked up. However, that's something that we do need to check out. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just want to kind of echo Commissioner Dominguez remarks around the alleyway cleaning. I personally has had some of those same issues at my house. I notice when they clean the alleyway that they don't really do it well with discarding the trash and moving it in the proper manner. So yeah, that can definitely be followed up with Mr. Manager. I know it's on your radar, but just ensuring that we have the proper procedures in place and that we aren't putting our residents ultimately at a disadvantage when we are cleaning those alleyways. That's it, Madam. Thank you.
Anyone else? Commissioner Bass?
I take walks around the city sometimes. I did one on Saturday, and I also noticed the trash but I've also noticed alleyways that were nice and clean. So I just want to put that out there. They're not all nasty. They're not all dirty. Some of them are nice and clean. And with that being said, that was my response to the gentleman's speech, for lack of a better word. And so the next comment that was made, I will not dignify that with an answer. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner, Vice Mayor Taylor?
I too, well, not only alleyways, but as beautification as a whole. I just want, what the manager said that he's gonna be on his focus for beautification for the city. Because like our residents said, they wanna have a pride about where they live. They wanna feel at home. So we wanna make sure that our city is clean and remains clean. So I just wanna echo the sentiments of my colleagues and say that we want beautification to be on the forefront.
Just to say, there seems to have been an uptick of garbage in our neighborhood. And I'm not sure if the board sees it. And I do know that Public Works is working diligently to clean as much as they can, along with the county. But what's happening is it is becoming a festering ground. And I know, I've passed that legislation about dumping, illegal dumping, and it's, taking a while for that. And I understand the budget, but it has gotten really out of control right now. And I do know that we've been on break. But if you drive around any given day around through Opa-locka. So that's why, it's imperative of us as residents. And I say us because we are also residents. It is an imperative that you see something, you say something. Don't just wait to come today for a commission meeting, but reach out to us, reach out to the city manager, reach out to the clerk, and report it so that we can stop and fix what's going on, because it has become out of control. Also, I know Commissioner Bass doesn't want to, but I'm going to say we've been doing a spectacular job up here, everyone, and we're going to continue to move forward. We're going to continue to do the great job that we've been doing. We know we get hit not with the best light with, when things come up, but all you can do is continue, like our resident, Ms. Irvin said, is to continue to shine the positive light on the city so that we can continue to make sure we move forward. So I'm not going to say any other thing, but I'm going to tell you, we're doing a bang up job, whether they like it or not. So moving forward.
Oh, Madam Mayor, may I add?
Yes.
So remember, the city has an application, See Click Fix, I believe is the title.
Yes.
It can be downloaded by all residents of the city. And you can report issues that you see, take pictures of it, and it's properly logged and it's addressed. So I ask and I promote the application download for all residents. They go on our website, get the link. It comes in iPhone and Android, download it. Our commissioners can download it, take the picture, send it to us. It's properly logged, properly sent to the appropriate department, and a response is given. As well as, I myself drive the city with the assistant city manager, and we kind of look at areas of concern and we try to address those areas. So on a weekly basis, we drive around, put miles and miles and miles on our vehicles to drive around to kind of understand what's going on in the city. Understand, we're just coming out of holiday. Miami Gardens is 3 weeks behind in bulky trash pickup, which means we're behind in bulky trash pickup. So those issues you see with illegal dumping in those dump areas is typically handled by the county. Some is handled by us, and they're 3 weeks behind. And then we're being attacked by this new COVID variant, which is hitting our staff, hitting everybody's staff rampantly. So there is going to be some lag in regards to responsiveness in those areas. But please understand, it is our priority to address them. I will acknowledge Commissioner Dominguez. She took several pictures for me and sent them to my phone in regards to areas of concern. And we are addressing those areas. And I can suggest, I really promote our residents to do the same through the application as well as our commission to address those things. So thank you for that. Madam Mayor, I just want to add that because that's very essential.
Yes. Thank you. We need to, moving on, thank you. We need to approve the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Davis,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Roll call.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Okay, our action items from our pull list. Madam Clerk.
That's Madam Attorney. We'll read that into the record.
I thought you were gonna say what numbers we pulled.
Okay, 13-6 and
Yes.
13-7 were pulled.
Thank you. Madam Attorney.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the city manager to participate in the Miami-Dade County Acquired Structures Program and enter into an agreement with Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Department for same, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Okay, City Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have Mr. Austin come and address it, and then I have additional comments. Mr. Austin.
Good afternoon, area Austin Public Works. Since the police facility has been designated for demolition, the fire department would like to utilize the facility to perform non-destructive training on the interior and some training on the exterior of the facility. We have a member of the Miami-Dade Fire Department here to provide you with any insight on what will be transpiring at that facility if it's needed.
Thank you, Chief. If you can come up and kind of explain the legislation and you guys' objective.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, sir, Commission, City Manager. Thank you all for taking the time to hear us out. So what we're looking to do, we got word that the old police building was going to be torn down and demolished. And myself and my partner here, Ms. Flora Sephar, is our senior legal liaison with MDFR. We've been working for the last 2 years on a program called an Acquired Structured Program. We're working with larger developers and actually within the county as well. And we're looking for buildings that are slated to be demolished to give our personnel, our men and women, some hands-on training that we just can't get in our training facility that we have. You know, we've got a state-of-the-art training facility. We've got a bunch of props that teach us the basics on how to break open doors and cut holes in windows. But the reality is hands-on training in buildings that are going to be demolished will give us experience to provide better, safer service to the public and to keep our men and women safer in our day-to-day activities. So if there's, I guess there's any questions that you all might have regarding the program, I'd be glad to answer. And if I can't answer them, I'll have my partner, Ms. Flora Seff, help me answer.
If you can ask Ms. Flores to come up, I'm sure there's some legal questions that the commission may have in regards to liability. Madam Mayor, floor is open. Floor is open for you all for questions.
No, not yet. I need to move the
Okay,
item
sorry.
first. I was waiting for you, Chief. Sorry. Can I have a motion to move this item?
Move it for discussion.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. I don't know. Okay, Commissioner Dominguez. Yes, Mr. Manager.
Madam Mayor.
Vice Mayor Taylor.
Okay, through the mayor to the manager, I pulled this item and I'll preface it by saying, I welcome the partnership, but I was a little confused in this sense, because when I asked the question, nobody had an answer. The building is deemed an unsafe structure and it is scheduled to be demolished. But my question was, if someone gets hurt, who is responsible? Who is liable?
The county,
The county.
yes,
So there's no liability on the city at all.
no.
Will there be paperwork to show that?
Madam
Well,
Attorney.
currently, the way that and we haven't had this discussion, but currently the way that it reads, it's not clear, and I think it's paragraph number 7, that it's the county that's responsible. My understanding from speaking with or communicating with council was that this is the standard contract that the county uses, and it's been approved and it could not be changed. And so I think the idea was that in balancing everything, I think, and I can't speak for the manager, but I believe he thought the liability would be low because it's going to be a demolished structure anyway, but I don't want to speak for him. But if you have council liaison, any other information, perhaps you can share it with the commission.
In terms of number 7, the hold harmless and indemnification
Yes.
clause, is that clause? So that's the clause. I worked with an assistant county attorney on this contract, just so you know that this program is not just something we started by ourselves. It's throughout the country at different fire departments, and it's also in different departments, fire departments in the state of Florida. In terms of what Miami-Dade County, the intent was that if anything happened to any of our employees while they were in the process of training in that structure, they would be covered by our workers' comp. So in order to start the program, we had to get approval from the Board of County Commissioners. We did go before them with our resolution, and this is what they approved. So when I say that we can't change anything, in order to change something in this contract, we would have to go back before the board.
Madam
One other thing I wanted to tell you is we already have had, since we started the program, we've had 10 different structures, housing versus multi-story buildings and things, and none of them had asked us to do anything. Nobody was injured, of course, and other than that, I don't run Miami-Dade County. So I have to go with what they are willing to say, and this hold harmless indemnification is in, yes, the standard county contract with issues that might come up if somebody was injured.
Madam Mayor?
Sorry, just to touch on that as well. And number 8, Vice Mayor, sir, that's the insurance where the county is stating that we are self-insured and we will provide our workman's compensation for our own employees should somebody be injured while training within the property that's going to be demolished. That's number 8, just for further clarification.
Ms. City Attorney, I have a quick question from what was stated. Madam City Attorney, I'm sorry. Does workman's comp cover if something happens in case they want to sue? Is that good enough?
No, that's a different paragraph than the paragraph that I brought up. I don't have it. I was trying to pull it up quickly, but paragraph number 7 deals with the city being completely liable if anything happens on that site while they're training. And so if their intent is different, then perhaps this can be something that the county commission may consider before it comes back to this body. But again, I think that the idea was that the liability, considering everything, is probably very low, that something could happen, but something could happen, So that's what contracts are for, to make sure that, you're fully protected. So if the commission has any reservations, then perhaps we can have this issue go back to the county with our concern and then come back to the city commission.
Madam Mayor.
I'm not saying that can't be done. I would tell you that would probably take 6 months, maybe 7 months to get it on the commission, before the commission. And I believe that there's a permit already in for the demolition of the property. Didn't we hear that?
I think it's been, I think it's been submitted. It's in the process. I think it's in the process.
All I can tell you is I keep trying to reach people downtown in the county in different departments and nobody answers the phone these days. So I'm not sure how fast that would go through to get it on before the commission.
Madam Mayor.
I think Taylor, Vice Mayor Taylor had the floor right now.
Okay, can we amend the initial resolution, a friendly amendment to add that language that the city would not be held liable if we sue, the county would take full responsibility or something to that effect, Madam Attorney?
No, sir, because the contract that they're willing to enter into with the city says just the opposite.
Mr. City Manager?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
the permit is already in for demolition. The property is in very low liability of any injury. It's a one-level structure that will be remediated of any environmental issues. It's already, the city commission already approved that through a resolution last year. And I asked for the commission support to do this. We've had 10 other municipalities that have done it. We're not the first municipality. We're not a test municipality. I support the partnership with Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. I think it really grows on our relationship. I spoke to the chief today and we're going to do many more things together interactively as far as for our residents. And so I find very low liability. The attorney stated on the record that their workers' comp will handle any employee injuries. Really, that's the issue. Will employees be injured in the process of doing whatever training in the building? And attorney stated that workers' compensation will cover, and typically that is what occurs. So I asked for support on this item. Like I said, the buildings are very low risk. Environmental concerns will be issued, dealt with, but through our engineer that's already contracted for the demolition of the building. This to go back to the county commission, they would not be able to do this because that building will be demolished within the next month and a half. And so it would be pointless to take this back to the county commission because that building will be pretty much taken down before that time period, because we're not going to stall demolition. So I just like to put that on the record.
If I could just say another thing, in terms of the training in there, we do two different types of training. One is destructive and the other is non-destructive. So non-destructive training, if you want, we would not be doing destructive training. So why don't you explain what non-destructive training is?
Right, you guys would have the option to allow us either of the two, the destructive and or non-destructive training. Seeing that the building is coming down, we'd respectfully request whatever you'd like to give us. But as far as non-destructive training, we basically will take our hose lines into the building, simulate that we're looking and searching for a fire. We'll do search and rescue activities, simulating searching for downed people, downed firefighters, downed civilians, ladder operations to the exterior of the building. And then if we are allowed to do destructive training, we'll basically maintain our destructive training to the inside of the building. So we maintain the building secure and we don't have any unwelcomed guests in your building, and or destructive training to the roof. That's it. Cutting ventilation holes in the roof. But you can go on in our contract, you can sign either of the two, destructive versus non-destructive. If we're going to be perfectly honest with you here, any training it works out well for us. Any real hands-on training that our men and women are not familiar with the building works great. But really the huge benefit to us is really the destructive training.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Commissioner Davis?
Thank you. After hearing the remarks, I had the same sort of concerns as Vice Mayor Taylor, which was really around the liability. Obviously, we outsource our fire services, fire and emergency services, and we work well with Miami-Dade County and would like to, I guess, foster that relationship and build on that partnership. But my challenge is actually with the financial liability side. So, if something happens, if an incident occurs while training, and someone is hurt, obviously, the health liability, right, the insurance will fall on the wayside of the Miami-Dade County. But I guess in the event that something financial happens or, someone seeks to sue in the event of an injury or, I don't know, a training scenario, we could potentially face liability in that area. So my question is, obviously, I know we're gonna, build on this partnership and that sort of thing. And the destructive training is obviously the more desired outcome for training purposes. What else are you guys offering? Like, is this a new training program where you're, where you're recruiting or you're taking in new trainees, or is this a program for like experienced firefighters? Just help give some context of the training program, like the demographics.
This training program would be available to all of our personnel already operating in the field. Particularly the units that are going to be operating in here are going to be the units that are going to be responding into the area of Opa-locka, Miami Gardens. That's basically how we work this thing. So this acquired structure program, again, this is, we've taken samples throughout the rest of the country and we formulated our acquired structure program around that. And one of the benefits to getting the real hands-on training is we're also keeping our units in service. So we don't have to travel all the way to Doral. We don't have to travel to other locations. We're getting our units that are in our cities, training in our cities. So our Opa-locka fire station, our North Miami, our Miami Gardens fire station, everyone that's going to be responding locally, all of our responders are already in the field that are going to be the ones doing the training.
Okay. I still feel a little uneasy given, I know how MOUs, I know how agreements work, everything is spelled out and it clearly states, that we have liability, in section 11. I do think that this would be a great partnership and I do want to, obviously help the fire department, move their training along, given that, we no longer have a use for the police station. So within a 6-month time until it's demolished, you guys could really utilize and get some really good training in. So I'll just err on the side. I'll say to my colleagues to maybe, if we are going to go ahead, to maybe steer towards the non-destructive training, obviously, present less liability and, given that, if you look at section 7, it's clearly there. So I would feel more comfortable with the non-destructive training moving forward. That's just my personal opinion.
Madam Mayor,
Mr. Manager.
I would ask, based on Commissioner Davis' recommendation, the commission can mandate me at this time to do non-destructive training only through a friendly amendment to maybe our resolution, Madam Attorney, where it directs me to only approve non-destructive training. Maybe that'll give some comfort to the commission.
This is a contract, Madam Liaison, that you deal with all of the time. I don't know that it limits in that contract because the contract is really what will dictate what they're allowed to do. And I think the contract is more expansive than that. So do you have any comments on that, since this is the document you live in every day?
Yes, number 1 of the agreement has 2 little boxes. Non-destructive training, destructive training. It says owner agrees to allow the department use of the property for the purposes stated, initial all appropriate boxes.
Okay,
So that's an option.
very well. So in that case, then we could check the box non-destructive. We can certainly revise the resolution non-destructive and proceed in that way.
Thank you. I do think that will ease us a little bit. Anyone else? Okay, going to call for the vote. Roll call.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
If I may, I think we might need, I don't know if we need to put a motion on the floor
sure.
to make the.
Yeah.
So I'll make the motion to select the non-destructive training, which includes area searches, rapid intervention team, building construction, apparatus replacement, incident command system, and tactics and strategy option solely.
Okay, need a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bass. Roll call?
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
No,
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
motion passes 4-1.
Item,
Madam Mayor, on the original motion. Need a roll call on the original motion?
oh yes, thank you. Roll call on the original motion, thank you, for 15, is that 13-6.
6. Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor?
no,
Mayor Williams?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-1.
Next item, 13-7, Madam Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the sale of declared closed identified by folio 08-2128-002-002, 08-2128-002-0030, 08-2128-002-0040, 08-2128-002-0050, 08-2128-002-0060, 08-2128-002-0090, 08-2128-004-0380, and 08-2128-004-0330, approving an agreement between the city of Opa-locka and Enma Holdings LLC for sale and purchase of said vacant land in the I-2 zoning district in the amount of $306,963, further authorizing the city manager to execute the agreement for sale and purchase of vacant land in as-is condition, and to take all other necessary actions to effectuate the intent of this resolution, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move the item?
move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Before I go over the item, I would like to do a friendly amendment to this legislation. I'll have the attorney explain.
Okay, we, being the attorneys, myself and Ms. Hope Calhoun, who's in the audience, saw some things. We wanted to get this on the agenda. This is something that you have already passed previously, and now this is just approving the agreement for sale and purchase of the vacant land in an as-is condition, and also the quitclaim deed which accompanies it. There are very minor changes, but I do want to bring it to your attention so that we can have this into the record and approved by you and incorporated. In the second paragraph, there is something that says 30, when actually that should actually be 3 years after. And so we've already done the changes. Ms. Calhoun and I just sent it to her and she's agreed earlier today. And we've talked through the document. And then there is a typo in the paragraph 3 where it has it would be shall not be deemed. And then, so there are, very minor changes that need to be made. So I would just ask that you all approve this, subject to the cleanup that's necessary by legal. And those are the big issues.
Good
Yes.
evening, Hope Calhoun. I'm just here to answer any questions. As your city attorney just advised, she and I did speak about the proposed changes, and we accept them. We have no issues with them.
Are there any questions on this item? Okay. Okay, we will vote to, for the item based off the approved, proposed changes, sorry, not approved, but the proposed changes that were, given by Madam City Attorney. Okay. Roll call?
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass. Yes. Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes,
motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, moving on to our new items.
Madam
We
Mayor,
have-
main motion.
Yes, Mr. Manager.
Oh. That was the amendment, the main motion.
Yes, thank you. Can I have a motion for the item 13.7?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Davis. Roll call?
I'm sorry, this is a motion for, because I thought we approved the resolution with the changes read into the record by the
Yeah,
city
that's what I
attorney.
said.
So do we need an additional motion?
You have not been doing that, but you could do that. So you could.
Okay. Commissioner Bass? Yes. Commissioner Davis?
Okay, what are we voting on? The main motion or the amendment? Just for
You're
point of
voting-
clarity,
you're
before I say
voting-
yes.
Actually, the amendment would have been fine, voting on the amendment with the changes. But I think what the manager was suggesting under Robert's rules is now going back to I think he was saying the main motion. I think it's fine what you've done. You haven't been doing it that way before, but I think it's fine.
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, thank you. Moving on to our planning and zoning items, new items. Item 15A1, Madam Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving the final site plan review request for the construction and operation of an industrial warehouse, distribution, and office space development building located at 12805 Lejeune Road and identified by folio 08-2129-000-006061 in the I3 zoning district, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager, and it was deferred from 12/8/21.
Okay, thank you. Mr. City Manager?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I asked Mr. Gregory Gay to come up to introduce this item and the companion items related to this item. Mr. Gay.
Mr. Gay?
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Happy New Year. This is for the Prologic development, which is a 274,000 square foot development that's occur on approximately 128th Street and Lejeune Road. This was presented before you at the December 8th Commission meeting, but there were some questions that were raised in relationship to these particular three items. The first item is dealing with the site plan. There were questions that were raised regarding the Moorish architecture and requesting to have more detailed information provided in relation to the Moorish design. The client did provide additional renderings in relationship to this particular project in more detail that should be included within your packet. It should be on somewhere between pages 249 to 257 within your package. So that reflects the additional design work that is going into this particular project. This is a new industrial warehouse and office facility. So they've already done the demolition of the site that was previously used by American Fruit. So they are anxiously awaiting to move forward with this project. The second part is for the variance, and the variance is basically related to the dimensions of the parking spaces that will be for the parking on this property. Our standard parking is a 10-foot by 20-foot parking space, which is typical in a lot of locations. But there are some places where a more compact parking space would be as appropriate. And they have proffered to do an 8.5 by 18-foot parking space. By doing this, this would allow them to have more parking on site, especially for the potential office operation that they are anticipating to occur on this site. So they will have more parking spaces overall. And the third item is to deal with the development agreement. There were some modifications to the development agreement, speaking to certain conditions. One of the conditions dealt with the maintenance, long-term maintenance of the property itself. And under letter E, that is addressed. And one of the other items that was addressed was the training and long-term employment opportunities for Opa-locka residents. So that was stated as well within the development agreement. Those were the modifications that were presented before us. I don't know if there's any other questions that are being raised. We do have representation from the development team with Prologix available to answer any additional questions that you may have.
Madam Mayor,
Mr. Manager?
I would like to add, I understand the concerns of the commission at the last commission meeting in regards to the design of the building. That has been resolved. As far as parking, I want to say that I do agree and support our resident that had a statement about parking at the last commission meeting. I do want the commission to understand this is parking on their property. It's not parking off-site. If this is off-site parking where residents will be parking, I truly do understand the concern of approving a variance, but we're approving a variance about parking on their property for their employees, not for our residents, not for visitors, their employees, their visitors. And I just want to kind of specifically say that. Also, we will be holding a future workshop to explain really the development plan for the city. So as the commission is aware, our city is over 50% commercial and industrial. So we're going to have a lot of commercial and industrial businesses coming into our city. I understand the commission's desire for other development in regards to grocery stores and other retail opportunities for the city. We do have properties available for that, but this specific property is in a commercial industrial area. And so it is appropriate for that area. I've reviewed this project extensively. We've went back and looked at the commission's concerns, made the design changes. We didn't do anything with parking because I wanted to be specific that the parking does not affect resident parking. So I ask for the commission's support on this item. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is now open.
Madam Mayor, Honorable Board, Robert Holland with offices at 3250 Northeast First Avenue, Miami, Florida. Here along with co-counsel Tracy Slavin, who will probably give you more detail with a slideshow. But as the manager mentioned, this particular property, in fact, that corridor along 37th Avenue and 42nd Avenue, really is the corridor that your jobs will be developed in this city. I know a lot of people like to push for retail. Retail jobs pay virtually almost minimum wage in the city. Industrial jobs pay 2.5 times that. So if you want to bring up the expendable income of this city, these are the types of jobs you want to bring in to your community. These are not industrial jobs or industrial buildings where there's manufacturing going on. This is clean industrial, more logistics movement. As most of you all know, based on COVID and some of the other things that have gone on with supply chain issues, people are ordering more stuff online. So there's more distribution, more logistics stuff that's taking place. Opa-locka is primed to get a vast portion of that business. And you don't have to compete with South Beach, City of Miami, Aventura, none of those folks for these kinds of jobs, which would inure to the benefit of this city. Retail, you have to compete with everybody on. And those are practically minimum wage jobs for the most part. And when you look at this development, that's being proposed. It's in an industrial zone. When you talk about the reduced size of the parking spaces, that's because this is not commercial activity. These are employees that are coming to work, parking that car, going into work, staying there all day and coming back out. If it was a retail site, then you have the egress and ingress constantly, and you don't know people's driving skills. So sometimes you need wider spaces in those situations to keep people's cars from being hit. That is not the situation here. Some of the concerns you had about the look of the building. There's been more additional Moorish principles added to this building. Now, it doesn't have the pointed arches, but they have a lot of the tile work and all the stuff that you guys have requested in your examples that you give to developers when they come here. So we've added more features to that. The buildings now have a lot of exterior, what I call elegant lighting, to make the buildings give you a very beautiful aesthetic when you come into the city, because you want to start changing that look as well. So people start to feel like, oh, some new things are going on here. So even older buildings now start looking for ways to compete and have to now up their game on their buildings. So that's what new construction does when you do it responsibly. As you know, whenever I've come before you, I've always argued for maintenance. Anybody who knows Prologis, I don't care where you go to a Prologis development, they don't buy their developments to sell. They buy theirs to hold. And they're one of the largest industrial developers in the world. But everywhere you go, you will see some place that is well maintained. They have roving security 24/7 on their property. They build these buildings to suit for other tenants. So what you're bringing in really is an anchor industrial company that knows industrial, cares about industrial, and you can always work with as a city. When you start talking about outreach, right now you have something where you your development agreement requires us to deal with career sources. Great entity to work with. But I think one of the missing gaps, and we're working with that on this end, and we'll be working with your manager, is trying to hire a PR firm that knows how to roll out these job fairs as far as the messaging to get more people to come in to want to apply for these jobs. We like the ability to be able to place these jobs on your website so that you can start encouraging your residents. Look at our website and you'll see the businesses that are coming in this community and the types of jobs that they're looking for, and they'll tell you where to go to, and you can kind of help direct that. And so we're willing to be part of that leading edge of showing people what they should be doing responsibly as developers seeking to be in Opa-locka. But when you look at Amazon, you look at the airport, you look at the cargo, I mean, the rail spurs, the access to the highways, you are primarily central to take advantage of the cargo distribution business. And it would be big bucks for this city. The beauty of industrial is industrial businesses are donor businesses to your city, which means you don't provide a lot of police services and trash services, any of that stuff. So the tax base you make off of them goes back into your residential community and your business community to kind of help with those things there. So if you can build this massive industrial logistics warehouse area along your Lejeune Road and your 37th Avenue, that would feed a lot of the rest of your community to deal with other things that you want to deal with. So we're more than willing to sit down to make this here work. We'll continue to work with the city on other things we think we can contribute to the city in a very socially responsible way. I've already reached out to the manager on that, and we're willing to sit down immediately to kind of come up with things that we can work with you on to make sure it's not just a Prologis here creating jobs and reaching out, but long-term effects with kids and everything else in this community. And as the manager mentioned, there's a training program we're working on to train people up for some of these jobs. It's being done in conjunction with the school board, the Beacon Council, the Meek Foundation. We're hoping to bring Florida Memorial into that equation as well, since they now have some funding through the Dolphins and Lennar for some trade training to try to get people trained up in the community so they can have access to those jobs. But the biggest thing is going to be even you guys serving as ambassadors for us to get people to come out to the job fairs and get themselves ready to get some of these jobs that, again, are the type of jobs that people can build their careers around versus retail jobs where you're just kind of going in, you're selling sneakers or selling sandwiches. You know, those are great jobs, but at some point we have to bring some of the higher paying jobs into the community, and we're willing to be a part of that solution with you. With that, I want to turn it over to Tracy Slavens with Holland and Knight for the balance of the presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. My name is Tracy Slavens, address at 701 Brickell Avenue, Suite 3300. Robert spoke to you about the economic benefits of this project, and I'm here to show you the pretty pictures. If we could cue up our slide presentation, we will walk you through the changes to all of the renderings that you saw last month. We heard you, we took it very seriously, and we've made very significant adjustments to our elevations to make sure that we do comply with your Moorish architectural style and that the building does contribute to the vernacular. Those illustrations were included in your packet, so we're going to skip the presentation, which brings me to a quick close. But I do want to give a special thank you to Corian Delane. He is one of your planners. He's worked extremely hard with us to push us to do what we need to do to help with job training and recruitment. He's already put us in touch with the Beacon Council and Miami-Dade College. We have a meeting scheduled for later this month to make this program a reality and to truly bring job training and education into the city that will help promote Opa-locka residents getting jobs in Opa-locka. So with that, Corin, I do want to thank you. And I thank all of you for your feedback. I think because of your comments last month, we're delivering a better project to you and we're delivering better benefits to the city. So thank you.
Thank you. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is now closed. Can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it for discussion.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Audrey Dominguez. Roll call.
I think somebody wanted discussion.
I'm gonna do a discussion after. Oh, you're right. Discussion. Mr. Manager got me mixed up over here with all his foolishness down there. Yes, exactly. We was doing real good and he kept trying to throw some stuff going on up in there. Yes.
Madam Mayor. I do love the changes that were presented in the packet. And I like a lot of the things that Mr. Holland said about the PR firm, getting it out to our residents, and even partnering with Opa-locka to actually promote it on our website. And I love the fact that you all are willing to actually partner with the city and hopefully to adopt one of our organizations to help boost something in our parks or something like that. But I, through the mayor, to the manager, I understand the developers agreement, but as I asked during the agenda briefing, I would like for us to develop a covenant agreement with developers going forward that specifically speaks to maintenance and security. That going forward, what is presented 5 years from now, we see that still. Because like we said, Opa-locka is trying to go into a safer neighborhood and a more beautiful neighborhood. So with beautification, a lot of times, not saying you all, a lot of times developers present to us and then 2 years down the line, we have a dilapidated building. So in order to maintain what we see that is presented before the commission, I want us to develop an even stronger document outside of the developers agreement, the covenant agreement that both parties agree to going forward. So we can hold our developers accountable for what we want to see in this city, the standards that we want to see in this city going forward.
If
Thank you,
I may, through the mayor, one of the suggestions that I had, because I took some time to look at your code, and you do have a code compliance chapter, but I think that's an excellent place for you to consider adopting measures that would apply uniformly, and then they're not really up for negotiation by every developer that comes in your door. You can create standards for maintenance and security during construction and building cleanliness and maintenance ongoing. And then it becomes, more of a code compliance thing that can apply to new and old buildings.
Madam Mayor?
Thank you. I just want to make some comments. Thank you for adding the additions that we suggested. Specifically, I know for me, I asked for the updated lighting and of course the maintenance agreement to be added. Thank you so much for that. Shout out to Mr. Delane for the support. And thank you all for at least being that beacon to try to continue to work with the city. A lot of times we get businesses that, shut down and move on after, but just have that, build that relationship. So, we're still flushing through the photos and everything here on our end. But again, I'm glad to hear that those updates were made. Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Mr. Vice Mayor, do you still like me to address your matter? I never answered your question.
I think she just gave you, yeah.
Thank you. First, I appreciate council for making that suggestion. I asked Mr. Gay and his staff to look into those incorporations to our code in order to ensure that everybody that does development Opa-locka is held accountable appropriately based on Commissioner Taylor's suggestion. Instead of doing a separate covenant, we want to incorporate it in our code, and I think that sets the standard for everybody. So I asked community development to come up with a code revision within 30 days to present to the city commission to meet the vice mayor's request, and he can co-sponsor it with me as the city manager. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call?
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 15A2, Madam City Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving the variance request for the construction and operation of an industrial warehouse, distribution, and office space development building located at 12805 Lejeune Road and identified by folio 08-2129-000-0061 in the I3 zoning district.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor, second by Commissioner Bass. Mr. Manager?
Madam Mayor, this item has already been introduced by Mr. Gay.
Yes.
We have no further comment, and I ask for you to proceed.
Okay, this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is now open.
Hello. My name is Sandra Espinal, 301 Baham Avenue, the last name Colado. I request to Jumps. Peter. How are you?
How are you doing, ma'am?
You don't know me too much.
I want to get to know
For
you.
now, you know me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I want to ask him. I know you new here, right?
In Opa-locka or
Opa-locka.
in the area I have?
Oh, well.
Hold on, Mr. Manager.
I want to ask you to do favor for the city. What happened to the city? It's too dark, no light. The city called Opa-locka, no light. And the park.
Oh, yeah. Excuse, ma'am, for public hearing items, you can only vote on, speak on that item. So if you're not here to talk about that item, then I need you to take a seat.
Okay, but the problem is like the city needed more light.
Okay, that's okay. Public hearing. Thank you.
Lamont Cruz, 13831 Northwest 24th Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida. I know you addressed the parking and you said it ain't gonna be too much of an issue, but constantly me going around and me building parking lots for different people, constantly, they always want the door to open a little wider. And you say only 8.5, really 10 is preferably, that's countywide. Because when you open the doors, the police don't have to be called because somebody getting in an argument because the door is too close. You say it's only gonna be for the officials, but if they say they're gonna hire Opa-locka people, that's what you said. That should be addressed, because that would be a future problem, and that's gonna change the whole code and say, oh, we could go down to 8. Even in the parking of Miami Gardens, I see the police getting constantly called because there's a lot of arguments. I know that's just a little issue, but it's just something to think about.
Thank you.
Tracy Slavens, address at 701 Brickell Avenue. I just want to clarify that the proposed parking space is the standard Miami-Dade County parking space size. We're not asking for what's known as a compact parking space. This is the standard in unincorporated Dade and many municipalities. And the reason that we're asking for the variance is that by picking up a 1.5 feet from each parking space that would otherwise have been 10 feet, we're able to provide 248 parking spaces as opposed to 151. And that really equates to the employees that we expect to have here. So, you know, with a 247,000 square foot building, that's about a person for every 1,000 square feet, which is why we really worked hard to have adequate parking. To attract Class A tenants, we have to provide enough parking, and to employ and keep people employed that want to stay, they need to be able to park at their job. So that was really the thought process behind the request, and we hope you agree. Thank you.
Public hearing is open. Public hearing is now closed. Any discussion from the board? Hearing no discussion, roll call, please.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Item 15A3.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving a development agreement for the construction and operation of an industrial warehouse, distribution and office space development building located at 12805 Lejeune Road and identified by folio 08-2129-000-0061 in the I3 zoning district, providing for incorporation of titles, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager and was deferred from 12/8/21.
Can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This item has been already introduced and presented by Gregory Gay. I ask for this matter to go to public hearing and vote.
This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is now open.
Tracy Slavens, 701 Brickell Avenue. I just wanted to say thank you all for your support this evening. We sincerely appreciate it.
Okay, public hearing is now closed. Any discussion?
Madam Mayor.
Commissioner Davis?
Thank you. Just kind of thinking back to the last discussion we had during first reading, I see if you look at section E, they have the maintenance letter, I guess, to address some of the concerns that you had around maintenance. Also, I know that myself, I also had concerns regarding training and employment, and see that they have also been subsequently addressed in section I of the developer agreement, where if you look at section I, B, it says they will host or require its general contractors to host a local job fair and provide a list of construction job openings to the city to post on the city's website prior to the issuance of the first building permit for vertical construction. The general contractor shall advise the city of any local new hires following its local job fair. So that language is included. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Baz. Yes. Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
16A1, Madam Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Chapter 8.5 entitled Elections of the City Code of Ordinances by creating Section 8.5-10 to require electronic filing of campaign finance reports with the city clerk of the City of Opa-locka, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in code, and providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city clerk.
Can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Davis.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Madam City Attorney,
The city clerk's item.
Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So this is a first reading ordinance, and what this would allow is for the city clerk's office to accept campaign finance reports from candidates during the election process electronically. And just to say, the state of Florida currently does it like that with their candidates in Miami-Dade County as well as other surrounding municipalities. And in order for us to begin this process, it has to be passed by legislation. Thank you.
This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is now open. Public hearing is closed. Any discussion on this item from the board?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Vice Mayor Taylor.
real quick, Madam Clerk, this item to me is great, only because it's a much easier process than handwriting it. So I appreciate it. But the only concern that I have, I think I brought it up to you during the agenda briefing. For people that are not computer literate, will there be a way that they can upload maybe a PDF document scanning or something like that? Or will you all be able to help them?
Madam Mayor? May I?
Yes.
respond? So there is a section in the ordinance
Okay.
that indicates that the clerk's office or one of her, one of my staff members will provide technical assistance if needed.
Thank you. I
Okay.
see it.
Yeah.
Wait, I had to read
So
it.
that
I
was
was like, oh, wait,
like,
I
it's in
skipped
the
over that
ordinance.
part.
Any other discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
my
Who's that?
question.
Who was that?
Baz.
Oh,
Mhm.
got a lot of women up here now.
I'm smiling loud because city clerk knows me. She knows I was always like, okay. Thank you again. Thank you. You said technical assistance, but I'm wondering if those that need to also submit hard copies, would you accept that?
Actually, no hard copies, but we will show whoever needs assistance how to upload it in PDF format to be able to submit it electronically.
Okay.
I mean, we'll guide, whoever needs the assistance, we're gonna be there to assist them. I did say it nice to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Hearing no other discussion, roll call.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
motion passes first reading.
Item 16B1.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending the annual adopted general proprietary and special revenue funds budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2021, and ending September 30th, 2022, adjusting revenues and expenditures as reflected in Exhibit A, providing for expenditure of funds established by the budget, authorizing the city manager to take certain actions, providing for appropriations of all budgets and expenditures, providing for fees consistent with appropriation and amendment, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. The first reading was held on 12/8/21, and this is sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Davis. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I asked Mr. Anthony to come up. Mr. Anthony, just be advised, this is a second reading. If you can go over any changes that were made between first and second reading as the commission passed the first reading, would be greatly appreciated.
Sir, good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Bob Anthem, Budget Administrator. As the manager pointed out, there have been quite a few changes. What I'm going to do tonight is hit the highlights. And if we could start the presentation, please. Next slide, please. The changes from the first hearing, as was requested a moment ago, there are four major categories. What we have done is for the water sewer fund and also the stormwater fund, we have broken them into two funds each. The way they were structured previously, it had operating revenues, operating expenses, investment revenues, investment expenses, all in the same fund. It was difficult to sort out. So we now have a separate operating fund for water sewer fund, and then we have a CIP fund for the water sewer fund, and ditto for the stormwater funds. One of the items in the consent agenda tonight was a loan from the general fund to the water sewer fund. That's also being brought into the budget amendment. The third thing that's different from what you saw in the first hearing, as you know, the city will receive $8 million through the American Rescue Plan Act, known as ARPA. We have received just shy of $4 million at this point. That has been brought into the budget amendment as well. And then the last thing that is new that was not presented at the first hearing is that there were a lot of projects that got underway last year, but were not completed. What we have to do in those instances are to bring those projects in. The portion that has not been completed, we bring that in as a budget amendment. So that's the next major change from what you saw in December. Next slide, please. This is truly the high-level financial overview. The top half of the slide is the funding. The bottom half of the slide is expenditure. You can see the top half of the funding is being done primarily with revenues that were not in the budget, and I'll explain that in more detail, and some use of fund balance, and I'll explain that in some detail as well. The expenditures that they will fund, again, you can see that at the bottom half of the slide, which is $5,965,000. Just a reminder, the highlight items are the transfers in, the transfers out. This is not revenue that is new revenue that's being received by the city. It is not additional expenditures that the city will pay out. All it reflects is money that's moving from one fund to another fund. In essence, what it is money that's moving from the general fund, the stormwater operating fund, the storm and the water sewer operating fund, moving those into the corresponding CIP accounts. So again, it's a big number, but in no way does it add additional expense to the city operations. Next slide, please. You can see the source of your revenue there. We had it on the previous page. It was $5,286,000. I would point out the 5 lines that are highlighted in yellow are all either grants or loans. They're not city revenue at all. So essentially, with a minor exception, the entire 5.2 million are being funded by other people's money. Next slide, please. We're using fund balance, as you saw on the lead-in page, total $679,000. In each of those instances, it is money that, for the most part, went into fund balance in FY21 because projects were not being completed and are now being taken out. Just a quick moment because it's a little confusing when you see a negative number as you see for ARPA. What we've done there is when we got the $4 million grant, we brought it into the budget. $4 million went into fund balance. We're going to use $1.5 million of it for projects. So when you see a negative sign in regard to use of fund balance, it's really in addition to. So it's a little confusing, but that's the background on it. Next slide, please. Where are the expenditures going to go? Again, bottom line, the net expenditures are going to be $5,968,500. The first, third, and fourth are essentially all capital projects. They're also where majority of ARPA money is going. So in aggregate, when you get down to the gross total of 6.2 before the savings and contingency, about 5 million of that is capital related. 1 million of it has to do with settlements. And then you have a couple 100,000 of smaller items down at the bottom portion of that listing there. As you can see, they do add up to 6,290,000. We are going to use recommend using 235,000 contingency. And there are another 89,700 savings, primarily created by vacancy in various positions. Next slide, please. In your packets, what I've done is given you a list of each project, and what for each project you can see the amount and whether it's a carryover being a term implying that it's a prior year project where the remainder of the project is being brought into the current year. Third column tells you what the purpose is, and the fourth column will tell you what the funding sources are going to be. I'm not going to take you through all of them tonight, but I will ask, can we go to slide number 10, please? Three from this one. Good, thank you. I'd like to bring to your attention, I failed to do it on the entry into this presentation. One recommendation, it's embedded into this budget amendment. You had a workshop in November and various projects were brought to your attention as being recommended to be covered by ARPA funding. This project, number 34, the maintenance of the rehabilitation of the manholes, was not on that list. The recommendation tonight is to bring it in. As you know, the water sewer fund has borrowed money from the general fund. It's got to repay it in the next 18 months. By sourcing this project from the ARPA funding rather from the water sewer fund balance, that strengthens the water sewer fund, strengthens in terms of being able to pay back the loan in September of 2023. So what I'd ask you to do now, please, is go to page 14. Thank you. I tried to explain this and I've been told I did not do a good job of it. So I'd like to give you a very simple example of it and try to show you where there are two options the way it can be addressed. The example as we're set up right now, very simplistic. The special events budget is only going to have one event. It's going to be funded by a commissioner's discretionary allowance for special events. This is the way the budget's set up. Key thing is it's going to be paid with city funds. Next slide, please. But there are changes as there always are. In this instance, the commissioner was able to go out, and again, this is just an example, and get $5,000 of donations to do an event, not necessarily one that was originally in the budget. So at this point, what we've done, even though the money's been received as a donation, it's still going to be paid by the city and it's going to show up as an expenditure in the special events budget. So you can see in the scenario we have right now, we've got additional revenue. The money was spent for this event and there's no remaining funding for any more special events this year. We have to do a budget amendment because we have $5,000 that was not in the budget. It's now been introduced. We have two options at this point. Next slide, please. We can do a budget amendment and say, okay, fine, we've got $5,000. We'll just go to fund balance and we'll leave the special events policy, or I'm sorry, special events budget as it is, which means there'll be no further events this year. This is even though no city funds in effect were used, even though it's being recorded in this account. The other option will be on the next slide. So if So what we can do at this point is say, okay, we will recognize the fact that the monies that were received took the place of city funds. We could take the $5,000, make a budget amendment and put the $5,000 and restore the special events budget so that there's still another 5,000 to do the event that was originally anticipated. So it boils down to a policy call. When a special event, which was going to be funded by city funds, is funded by third-party donations, should that be should that result in therefore not doing any more special events and take the money into fund balance? Or do we reflect the fact that the city really, even though it doesn't show in the accounts that way, the city did not spend their funds on it and therefore put a budget amendment in so that the original event can still be scheduled? That's all I have. I'm still ready to answer any question you may have on this discussion or any of the line items in the budget amendment itself.
Madam Mayor?
Commissioner Dominguez.
To the manager, through Mr. Anathan, I know that the first reading passed. I just wanted to ask a question on page 345. I'd like to know, what is People's Transportation Plan for $414,750?
What is it, the fund, or how's the money going to be used?
It's a budget amendment, second, it's B.
Yes, ma'am, I'm familiar with it. I'm not sure if you're asking about the general fund or how it's going to be used here.
Mr. Anderson, the commissioner, I think, wants background on what that fund is. So we kind
Exactly.
of give background on that and then explain the expenditure. How we want
That's exactly the question I was asking. Thank you. The People's Transportation Fund is a fund that is based off of the county half sales tax. What it does is generates funds, which goes into a unique fund. Are you familiar with the fund structure in general, where you divide your financial operations into different funds to cover different types of activity? Okay. The money is received from the county, is used for roadway improvement and so forth. This was work that was not done last year. It's being brought in this year, and that's the purpose. It's being used either for such things as it funds two things, either a bus, it's called transportation or transit. One is for the community bus. The second one is for roadway improvements, either roads or sidewalks and so forth.
Okay, thank you. Also, on the same page, I see that it says miscellaneous, 42,569. Should it be specified as a line item or?
Yes, ma'am. You've got the budget amendment is composed, I think at this point, probably. The numbers are up to 72. We took 2 out, so there's 70 in there right now. These are the small ones. It would include, when you look at the details, which will actually become part of the budget amendment that gets entered in the budget system, includes things like $4,000 for additional copier expense based on new contract, includes $6,000 for repair of police radios that was not brought in, so forth. So it's just shown as miscellaneous in what I presented tonight. In the backup detail, you'll see each of those line items.
Okay.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes, sir.
I think it would be good after this meeting that we set up a time with Commissioner Dominguez to kind of go over the budget and how it's structured, so she can have a better understanding. Thank you, Commissioner Dominguez, for those questions.
Thank you.
Mr. Anthony.
Yes, ma'am.
Question, for the special events budget, are we, I see the breakdown. Are you asking us to, because you have options, is this options for when can we move the item without having, or is this for discussion?
It's trying to be informative because I think I created a lot of confusion in the past. We have exercised option 2 in this budget amendment. if it is, if it is this commission's policy that whenever donations are received, even though city funds are not spent, it'll still be considered and well, to probably make it more local. I'm sorry,
Mr. Anathan,
yes, sir.
I think it'd be beneficial and if the commission would allow me. I think option 2 would be better beneficial for the commission for us to allow us to bring donations in and properly record them. Option 1 would mean if you brought donations in and we didn't record it, we would say your fund is expended and I'll be saying that you have no funds to do any events. So option 1 is not beneficial to the commission at all. We've been doing option 2. And that's my prerogative, and I think it's beneficial for the commission. If the commission will agree, we can move on.
Or can the commissioner just decide what option is best? I'm just asking, I don't know.
So Madam Mayor, the way it's structured, it is not per commissioner. Whatever decision will affect everybody.
Got it, okay. Say no more. Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
I'm sorry, I stepped away. Did you do public hearings on this item?
I did. 5 million public hearing items. Public hearing is now open. Thought I did. Public hearing is closed. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes,
motion passes 5-0.
thank you. Item 16B2, Madam Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Chapter 2, Article 11, Division 13, entitled Historic Environmental Preservation Board to establish minimum standards for municipal historic preservation programs as set forth in the Miami-Dade County Historic Preservation Ordinance, Section 16A-3.1, providing for board organization and qualifications, board duties and responsibilities, scope of regulations, definition, administration, and enforcement of rules and regulations, site, district, zone designation process and procedures, demolition process and procedures for maintenance of designated properties, certificate to dig procedures, and appeal process for penalties, incentives, providing for severability, providing for conflict, and providing for an effective date. Repeal or rescinding all resolutions in conflict, providing for an effective date.
Have a motion to move the item.
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Dominguez,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Mr. Mayor, Manager.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I ask Mr. Gregory Gay to come and present this item. Mr. Gay.
Thank you, Manager. Mayor, members of the commission. This item is to address us reestablishing our Historic and Environmental Preservation Board, which was reestablished in about 2018. In order for the city of Opa-locka to continue to operate its own Historic and Environmental Preservation Board independently, there are certain statutory things and ordinances that needed to be modified in order to be consistent with Miami-Dade County's rules and regulations and ordinance in relationship to historic preservation. We did go through these particular actions. There's a litany of different items there. We're actually adding an additional professional position to the board to reflect some of the concerns that they have relating to having professionals along with members of the citizenry to be a part of the board overall. So we presented all that information to our Historic Preservation Board as information. They did take a look at it. They were consistent with it, and we presented before you for consideration.
Thank you. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is now open. Public hearing is closed. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Item 16B3.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the dissolution of a safe neighborhood improvement district, special district, in accordance with Chapter 189.071 Florida statutes and repealing Ordinance 88-03 and Ordinance 88-04 for the Alabama Neighborhood Improvement District within an area containing approximately 45 acres bounded by on the east by Northwest 17th Avenue, on the west by Northwest 22nd Avenue, on the north by Northwest 151st Street, and on the south by Northwest Alabama Avenue, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. First reading, public hearing was held on 12/8/21, and this is sponsored by the city manager.
Okay, can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will ask Mr. Gregory Gay to come up. I'll note 3, 4, and 5 are similar items, so if you can explain all three to provide clarification for the commission, we greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Madam Mayor, members of the commission. These three items relate to some safe neighborhood improvement districts that were created in 1988. At that time, the city commission was looking at creating these particular safe neighborhoods to do some improvements as it relates to safety, removal of slum and blight for these particular areas. The areas that we're speaking about is the Alibaba area, which is the area formerly known as the Triangle, along 17th, from 17th Avenue block to 22nd Avenue, and bounded by the railroad right of way up to 151st Street. You also have the east-west area, which is a commercial industrial area bounded by 17th Avenue to the east, 22nd Avenue to the west, and between 135th Street to the south up to approximately 139th Street to the north. The third area is the Nile Gardens area. This is an area that is just below 135th Street, west of 27th Avenue. When these particular areas were created, there was a different idea and philosophy in relationship to historic, toward creating these safe neighborhoods. Since that time, the commission has not moved forward to establish boards that are to be a part of this particular type of business or type of operation to occur for these particular districts. They were supposed to establish a board. They were supposed to also establish a budget in relationship to funding the improvements in relationship to the safe neighborhood projects. It was basically through the operational audit that it was determined that these particular safe neighborhood districts really did not serve a purpose because they had not been activated in its proper format. Thus, it was recommended for these particular safe neighborhood districts to be dissolved. Therefore, also relieving the city of a small financial burden of paying for the administrative fees to the state of Florida Department of Environment, Economic Opportunity, to the tune of approximately $175 per district on an annual basis. So it was in our best interest to have these particular districts to be dissolved from a fiduciary standpoint, as well as from a standpoint that they had not been operational since 1988. And we're approaching about the 33rd or 34th year of them being in place. We did profit this as a part of a change to the operation overall. One of the districts is actually encompassed within the CRA, which was created in 2011, 2012. So one of the areas is being covered in relationship to the removal of slum and blight and creating a much more sustainable and safe neighborhood for those areas. The other two have no programming in place at this time. Staff does recommend approval for the dissolution.
This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Any discussion from the board?
Madam Mayor.
Commissioner Davis?
Thank you. I had a chance to speak with Mr. Gay regarding the item and the agenda briefing. And one of the concerns that I had in particular was with just that, the safe neighborhood designation. Obviously, the intent behind the original pursuit of the designation is to make our communities more safer and livable, places to be. The two neighborhoods in question obviously is Nile Gardens and the Triangle or Magnolia North community. Magnolia North will still have some, still have help because it falls within our CRA boundary. So ultimately we'll be able to benefit from the services provided through our separate entity, which is the CRA. My concern in particular is relative to the Nile Gardens neighborhood, which is over on the west side of town. So when we talk about communities like Glorietta Gardens and some of our largest multifamily complexes, over the years, we've had, different episodes of crime and violence and just issues around safety. I know that, from a cost benefit perspective, we're not really getting much of out of the designation. But I don't want to lose the initial spirit or intent, which is, to make certain areas or certain segments of our community more safer. So I asked the director in lieu of, getting rid of the item, that he would, do some research to see what sort of designations are out there. As you know, our downtown corridor is now designated as a main street. So we have the Florida Main Street designation, which is a big accomplishment. And my hopes would be, staff would do the proper research to, just see what avenues are out there. We know that the safe neighborhood, obviously that designation is quite antiquated. So just want to see if there are any other options to ensure the safety of those areas. That's all I have, Mrs. Mayor.
Thank you. Any other discussion from the board? Roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Item 16B5.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the dissolution of a safe neighborhood improvement district, special district in accordance with Chapter 189.071 Florida statutes and repealing Ordinance 88-03 and Ordinance 88-05 for the Nile Gardens Neighborhood Improvement District within an area containing approximately 320 acres bounded by the east by Northwest 27th Avenue, on the west by Alexandria Drive, on the north by Northwest 135th Street, and on the south by Northwest 128th Street, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. The first reading and public hearing was held on 12/8/21, and this is sponsored by the city manager.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to move the item
Move it.
by Commissioner Bass?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dominguez. Mr. Manager.
Thank you. I have Mr. Gay to come up to discuss this item.
As previously presented, this is for the dissolution of another one of the safe neighborhood improvement districts. Basically, this one has not been active and no budgetary funds have been expended, and no board has been set up in order to operate. Staff recommends dissolution.
Thank you. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is now open. Public hearing is closed. Any discussion from the board?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
no discussion, just a comment. And I just feel like if I need to say this, I'm gonna say it because we are relatively quiet right now. And just so you all know that we do go into agenda briefings and we're not inept of what's going on. We are aware. So when we're not asking questions, it doesn't mean that we don't know. It means that we do know. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Any other discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Items, I think I said 5. Item 16B5.
An ordinance 16B5.
It was 4, but it was should have, we're on 5 now.
Yes.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the dissolution of a safe neighborhood improvement district, special district in accordance with Chapter 189 Florida statutes and repealing Ordinance 88-03 and Ordinance 88-05 for the Nile Gardens Neighborhood Improvement District within an area containing approximately 320 acres. Madam Mayor, I think 5 I just read. I think we are on 6.
No.
I just read
they're-
3.
they're
I just
they're
read
literally
320,
the
but I
same.
will start all over again.
No, we haven't done 5.
Okay.
Yeah, the address is different.
Okay, my apologies. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the dissolution of a safe neighborhood improvement district, special district in accordance with Chapter 189.071 Florida statutes and repealing Ordinance 88-03 and Ordinance 88-05 for the Nile Gardens Neighborhood Improvement District within an area containing approximately 320 acres, bounded on the east by Northwest 27th Avenue, on the west by Alexandria Drive, on the north by Northwest 135th Street, and on the south by Northwest 128th Street, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. The first reading was held on 12/8/21, and this is sponsored by the city manager.
Okay, can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Taylor. Mr. Manager?
Madam Mayor, Mr. Gay has already explained all 3 items. At this point, if the commission has any questions, I ask for a vote.
It's a public hearing item. Public hearing is now open. Public hearing is closed. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0.
Item 16B6.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Ordinance 15-31 Land Development Regulations to include the Moorish Revival Style Design Handbook, providing for definitions, permit, and severability, codification, and an effective date. First reading was held on December the 12th, 2021, and this is sponsored by the city manager.
Can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dominguez. Mr. Manager?
Thank you. I ask Mr. Gregory Gay to present this item. Mr. Gay.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, Mayor, members of the commission. This item is for the creation of the Moorish Revival Style Design Handbook. This is an effort to address some things that did not occur when the zoning code was approved in 2015. There were references within the zoning code for a design guideline or some type of documentation to basically promote Moorish style architecture for new development to occur, as well as the preservation of existing historic properties within the city of Opa-locka. We did present this before our Historic Preservation Board as information, and we did present it before the Planning and Zoning Board for approval. Staff also recommends approval.
Thank you.
Mr. Gay.
Public hearing item, public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bath,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Item 16B7,
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending ordinance 15-31 land development regulations to include Article 4, Section 22-101, creating the historic downtown Opa-locka district, providing for definitions, providing for permitted and prohibited uses, providing for development criteria, providing for special permit requirements, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. The first reading was held on 12/8/2021, and this is sponsored by the city manager.
can I have a motion to move the item?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Mr. Manager?
Thank you. I ask Mr. Gregory Gay to present this item. Mr. Gay.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, Mayor, and members of the commission. This is for the creation of a standalone zoning for our downtown district, our historic downtown overlay, historic downtown zoning district. For the past few years, one thing we have noticed is that within the downtown area, we actually have about 3 or 4 different zoning categories, along with a downtown overlay, which encompasses a much broader area within the downtown area. Since we had a recent exercise for the downtown master plan, which has been an effort led by Mr. Delane through the CRA, one of the things that we needed to have occur is to have a standalone zoning for our downtown area for the purposes of making sure that if there were zoning modifications to occur in other areas of the city that had the same zoning categories within the downtown area, that it could have an impact on downtown development overall. And likewise, by having an independent downtown zoning district, whatever modifications are made within the downtown area would not have an impact on other areas of the city. This was presented before the Planning and Zoning Board. They did recommend approval. Staff also recommends approval.
Thank you. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Any discussion from the board? Hearing none, roll call.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bath.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Item 16B8,
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending ordinance 15-31 land development regulations to include Article 4, Section 22-102, creating the Opa-locka Innovation District, providing for definitions, providing for permitted and prohibited uses, providing for development regulations and incentives, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date. The first reading and public hearing was held on 12/8/2021, and this is sponsored by the city manager.
I have a motion to move the item.
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Taylor,
Second.
second Commissioner Davis. Mr. Manager?
Thank you. I ask Mr. Delane to present this item as this was his brainchild. Mr. Delane.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission, Mr. Manager, Corian Delane, City Planner, Interim CRA Manager. This item is looking at one of our areas in the city that we're seeking to improve and upgrade for higher and better use. And this is an opportunity for us to, look at the environment around us, how many communities are transitioning into bringing in more innovative and more tech jobs and more industries within the space. And looking at the makeup of other communities that have industrial areas that are making that transition, such as Wynwood in Miami and Flagler Village in Fort Lauderdale, Opa-locka has an area that pretty much has this same environment, and we're looking to make that transition as well. The difference is looking at these communities, they were pretty much developed by developers. And the city pretty much came on the back end. This was an opportunity for the city to look at, more internally and figure out what would we like to see for our community moving forward. So we were able to review the code, look at some other municipalities and what they did as an afterthought to develop those communities, and put some legislation together to provide opportunities for incentives to bring in new business, but also opportunities for training resources to have a viable location to provide those opportunities for our residents. So I would like to say that this is something that staff has worked on diligently for over the past 2 years. And a lot of the relationships and partnerships that we're establishing, just because of this new change, is going to bring a lot of new development, a lot of new investments, and a lot of new resources to this community that we haven't had. Looking at the resources that this community has in terms of logistics, trade, e-commerce, the whole nine. So, I'm very appreciative that, staff has been able to work as hard as we did to make this happen. And I'm very appreciative that the mayor and commission are also looking at this item to be able to afford this opportunity for our residents and to better our community. So thank you.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you, Mr. Delane. This is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is now closed. Any discussion from the board?
Madam Mayor,
Vice Mayor Taylor?
really quick, through the manager to Mr. Delane, I just want to say I appreciate the hard work that you're doing for our community. And I believe that this is a great idea and will help push Opa-locka into that 21st century that we all want to go to. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Delane, again, thank you for, like I said the other day, for long-term vision and thinking those steps through how we're going to get to where we're going to be. And we know we're going to be there despite what others may say. We're going to be there with the help of you, young brother. Any other discussion from the board? No? Okay. Roll call.
Commissioner Bath,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
I was getting a word from the duck from me tonight. Okay, I'm sorry. I just had it. I didn't mean to do that.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
It's been a long day. It's
I
okay.
didn't-
Okay.
Rewind.
Rewind.
No, I'm tired. I'm gonna drop it.
Roll call, roll call. Madam Clerk, do you need to redo the roll call?
Commission, you want me to do it again?
Just for the record, if you don't mind, because I gabbled.
Okay. Commissioner Bath,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor, Mayor Williams.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
thank you. Swallow me that coffee, Mr. Grice. That coffee.
Almost there.
Any resolutions? Where?
No, Madam Mayor.
Got one more 8.
The next item is City Manager's report.
Thank you. It's just voted. Oh, God.
It's okay.
No. Okay, yeah, you need some coffee too. Any resolutions, Madam Clerk?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. We've already done the city manager's report. Are there any official board reports?
Yes.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
we did not do the city manager's.
Mr. Manager, you asked in the beginning of the meeting to do your report first.
I asked to give my response for public comments, Madam Mayor. First.
Mr. Manager,
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to wish everybody a Happy New Year. First, I would like to commend Mr. Corian Delane for all the hard work he's been doing. Myself and Mr. Lane have developed an outstanding partnership in regards to the CRA and being interim CRA manager. Kind of assume those duties on my behalf as CRA Executive Director, so I'd like to thank him for that. I'd like to thank him for his efforts both on the CRA side and the city side, as far as developing the partnerships he's doing in regards to the various projects he's working on. Myself and Mr. Delane are in constant communication on a quite daily basis, ensuring that we're moving the city forward based on the city's vision. So I'd like to thank Mr. Delane for his efforts publicly, and I look forward to the CRA recruiting for an executive director to bring somebody in permanently to run the CRA. So I look forward to the CRA bringing some type of resolution forward to start recruiting for a CRA executive director to take those responsibilities off my hands and provide somebody permanent to run the CRA as I run the city. A written bi-weekly report was submitted to the City Commission. However, I'd like to add that Ingram Park field lighting is 100% complete. Thank God. We've been working on this for 2 years. So Ingram Park lighting is up and running. Now it's working on improving the park, getting appropriate grants so our residents can use the property in the way it's supposed to be designed. Legislation will be presented to the City Commission to approve a contract with Public Works and CIP to conduct a street scan evaluation of all roadways, street signs, and sidewalks to determine the areas of most concern. Legislation is forthcoming to address flooding on Northwest 133rd Street. In addition, legislation will be presented to the City Commission to temporarily resolve the road conditions on Northwest 147th Street. Pump stations 4 and 8 are out of moratorium. Thank God. We've been working on that on a constant basis, which allows for new development in those areas. So I'd like to thank Mr. Austin and his efforts along with our engineers in ensuring that this was done. Even though it was not done in a timely manner, it is finally done. So thank you so much. The city applied for a grant to plant 158 trees on the median of Purvis Avenue. As a note, as a result of the highly contagious Omicron variant, we have increased our safety measures for staff and employees to include routine daily cleaning of all common areas, sanitize all city facilities on a weekly basis, and mask requirements for all employees and visitors. We shall be hosting a free COVID-19 vaccine pop-up event sponsored by Miami-Dade County on January 19th from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. in Shabundy Village. As far as lighting, we are going to get tower lights for these areas until Public Works get a quote to address the major lighting issues. So we will be working on lighting along this with the city with temporary tower lights so we can ensure proper lighting to make sure our residents feel safe and secure in the community. Madam Mayor, that concludes my report. I'll take any questions from the commission.
Are there any questions from the commission for the manager? Questions, comments?
I have a question, Mr. Manager, regarding the pop-up event. What day? When was that again? If you could.
That's January 19th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in Shabundy Village. And that's for vaccinations. All vaccination types will be available for residents for first injection, second injection, or booster. All will be available.
Thank you.
Mr. Manager, I'm wondering, are we going to bring back, I get a lot of questions about the testing facility that was at Shabundy. Are we going to bring testing back?
Madam Mayor, we've been working diligently with Miami-Dade County to address this matter. They've really shifted their priorities to vaccinations because really that's the priority, to get people vaccinated. Testing, there are a lot of testing sites within Miami-Dade County. even close nearby here, Miami Gardens and Miami-Dade College, and in various areas, and all areas can be done. I am in the process of purchasing several thousand home kits for residents to self-test. We're doing a co-op with another community that has done an RFP, and the RFP is for a greater amount that they need. So we're doing a co-op with this city to get some of their testing supplies, and we'll be providing those testing kits to our residents upon our receiving them on an as-needed basis at various sites along the city. And our Parks and Recs department will assist in kind of pushing that out along with city staff.
Thank you. Anything else for the manager? Okay. Any official board reports, Madam Clerk?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Any future agenda items?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to bring a program that we used to have many, many years ago, which was the paint program. There's a lot of residents that have been affected by COVID-19, unemployed. This can bring beautification to our neighborhoods. There's a lot of houses that really are not looking very nice in the area. So I think if I get the support from the commission, this would be something that would be helpful for the residents of Opa-locka. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
did I miss the mayor and commission report part?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Commissioner Davis?
Thank you. Yeah, we could just kind of, I guess, put a little discussion. I think that's a great idea. I know that we have a similar program that we were able to take advantage of through leftover CARES Act funding that I actually advocated for this past fiscal year. I do know that as an item, we pledged to allocate many of our American Rescue Plan ARP funds towards social initiatives. And I know, my advocacy has been around, about home beautification and paint programs or similar initiative. So I don't know, maybe if, we can kind of merge those efforts, or I don't know if the manager had maybe any input, but I would love to see that program go forward. And, if it can kind of be curtailed with what has already happened with the beautification, with those leftover grant funds, that would be great. I'd be more than willing to support it. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. I have no problem at all in assisting Commissioner Dominguez and yourself in regards to this program. We will bring forth a resolution to the commission because you guys have to allocate the funding, a specific dollar amount to come out of ARPA funds. So we will draft the appropriate resolution. We will be in discussion with each one of you in regards to dollar amounts and make sure we have established a dollar amount and bring it back before the commission for approval.
Okay, so I would also like to co-sponsor the item as well, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Any discussion about the item? Mayor and commission reports. Commissioner Bass. Yes.
Can I call for the vote on the future agenda item, if you don't mind?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes.
motion passes 5-0.
Commissioner Bass.
Oh, thank you. I have several issues tonight, and I'm going to be frank with it. Number one, let me say thank you to the city of Opa-locka for continuing to work on our streets and our roads. However, it would have been really, really nice had the school that I work at for 22 years was notified that that work would have started. So it was a huge inconvenience to the school for dismissal for our students. That's number one. Number two, I'm also disappointed that several things has occurred in the city throughout the year. Fires, no one from the manager's office showed up. Code enforcement was there. A few others were there, but the look was not good for the city. When we have a home that's on fire or being burnt, I cannot, for the life of me, understand why we don't have someone from the manager's office to show up. In regards to today, what everybody knows what happened, I was truly, truly disappointed again that no one from the city was there, being the face of the city. It is an embarrassment. It's awful, let's put it that way, because when you are governing a city, when you are the head of a city, if you are not able to show your face, someone else in your department should be able to show up and represent the city. I have been on fires of the city where there's no one from the city. Embarrassment. City of Miami would be there, whoever need to be there, but there's no one from the city. Embarrassment. Am I frustrated? Yes. Do I just want to get up and take my purse like the mayor did? Yes. Am I going to do that? No, because I'm vested in the city of Opa-locka. I am Opa-locka. With that being said, I am not comfortable at this point with our city manager, and I want it to be noted that I'm this close to putting on the floor an exit. I don't know what my counterparts feel about it or think about it. And at this point, I really don't care. And I say that because at the end of the day, I am responsible for almost 17,000 residents in the city of Opa-locka. And when I have residents coming to me telling me that it is your fault or it's the day's fault that the city is where it's at, then it's something to be looked into. And at the same time, I see growth in the city, of course. I see roads being paved and everything else. Yeah, I see that. But there's more to be done. Honesty, transparency needs to be the key words in the city of Opa-locka, and we don't have it. We say things that we don't really mean, just fluff to keep the dais quiet. That's not fair, nor is it right. With all that being said, like I said, again, I'm this close. I'm this close. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bass. Anyone else?
Madam Mayor.
Madam Mayor.
Commissioner Taylor?
Um,
Vice Mayor Taylor, sorry.
It's fine. So just want to invite my colleagues out to our annual MLK, and we changed the name to the MLK Ollie B. Kelly Peace Day. That will be happening this Saturday. We're going to start with a walk from our municipal complex to our Shabundy Village, where we'll have a brunch, and we have the Honorable Dorothy Bendross Meningall, who will be our keynote speaker. And right after that, we'll be going outside for a field day or kickball game, and we want everybody to come out. Also, for the last, well, we started this week, we've been offering free, we called it Free Cardio January, because we're pushing our community into a healthier community. So it's free to the residents. It's from 6 to 7. So tell your friends, tell your family that they can meet us here at Shabundy Village, 215 Purvis Avenue, for free cardio classes on Mondays and Wednesdays. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. just want to give a shout out, thank you, Vice Mayor Taylor for the cardio classes as well as the spearheading the MLK walk. And I'm sure we'll all be there, you know, to support that because this is Martin Luther King's birthday. And this is a national holiday and we must ensure that his dream continues to be alive. And then the question is, are we socially distancing from the dream? Y'all like that? Y'all like that? Catch that one. Can't have it. However, just to save the date, there's a new date for the state of the city, which is January 28th, at 6 p.m. So be aware of that. And also please be on the lookout. And I'm saying this with all sincerity. We're constantly getting bombarded by citizens, some with information, citizens and, you know, well, everybody. And we want to make sure that we have a town hall where everyone can come and share. We know we have public hearing, but that's just not enough. We want to be able as a city to get input, advice, know what projects and programs that you want us as a board to move forward. And we can't know that when the only thing you bring to our ears are negativity. We want to be able to get and hear from all of our citizens. We must re-engage and reactivate. So please be on the lookout for the town hall. And that's my report. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Madam Clerk, any official board appointments?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we have an application that is in the agenda packet. And it's for the Planning and Zoning Board and it's from Ms. Dorothy Johnson. The Planning and Zoning Board is at large.
Okay.
And also, I believe Commissioner Dominguez has an individual appointment to make to the Charter Review Board.
Okay. Making it tonight or you're just saying it? Okay.
I mean, there is a application for your consideration in the
Yes,
packet.
okay.
And then also there's an individual appointment from Commissioner Dominguez. But she would, I don't have that information. She would have to state her appointment.
Appointments. Okay. So we're gonna make the appointments. Are we prepared? Because y'all packing up like we. Okay, the first one is for the Planning and Zoning Board.
That is correct.
Yeah, I like, Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to put a motion on the floor to appoint Dottie Johnson to the Planning and Zoning Board, Zoning
That's
Appeals
what I need
Board.
a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you.
All third.
Okay,
Okay.
roll call.
Commissioner Dominguez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass,
Yes.
Commissioner David,
Yes.
Mayor Williams,
Yes,
motion passes 5-0.
okay, and the appointment for, well, we don't have to vote on that. Yeah, that's her appointment. So.
No, but Commissioner Dominguez can state it in the record.
Yeah, that's what I was. Okay.
Yes, I like for the Civil Service Board, I like to nominate Miss Christina Banks, even though she's not present, but she is aware.
We'll go ahead and notify her of the appointment.
Thank you.
Okay. Can I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
No. Can I have a motion to appoint Ms. Banks?
Make the
It's
motion. to
it's
appoint
individual appointments,
yeah,
so
okay.
no motion is needed on
Got
that.
it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah. I did want to, I'm coming for the Charter Review Board. I know it had got installed based on the two advisory positions. I did want to put it out so that we can probably move forward. A few years back, Katie Swanson did a how to run for office community project for the city, and I was a part of that. And I wanted to see if we can reach out to her so that we can, perhaps she would like to be a part of this board because she's clearly a ex-county commissioner. Been there probably one of the longest county commissioners. And then if we can reach out to her to see if she had a second person that she would like to bring on, and then we could bring both of those names to the board. But that's my suggestion so that we can move forward.
Madam Mayor,
Madam-
I understand what you're saying, but I asked before we do that, let's give it to the next meeting, only because we're still waiting on the school to respond. It was in session. So I'm just can we pause it and not make a motion tonight?
Well,
And just give it to, if we don't have it by next meeting, the students, then I'm
And
down
I'm,
for it.
and I'm
not
only
opposed to it.
saying because,
She's a beast. She's awesome.
yeah, just to have some strength and some knowledge.
Yeah.
And I get what we talked about in terms of students, but I don't know if they're going to be prepared enough to really be as knowledgeable on this charter board as we need. And I know she will be, and who she will probably bring to the table. So I'm only saying if we could reconsider. I know we said students, but I think that perhaps we should, look for some strength, but that's me.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Before we,
Commissioner Dominguez.
and to the clerk, I made an error selecting the board that I really wanted. It's late, my eyes is, they're bad. I really wanted to select Christina back for the Charter Review Board, not the, I looked at Civil Service Board, but it's really the Charter Review Board.
Actually, that's what I wrote down,
Okay,
the charter
perfect.
review.
Thank you. Okay,
Because I
good.
know you had mentioned it to me previously,
Yes,
so.
okay, thank you. Just to make sure.
Okay, so, are we're gonna move forward with the students then? We just need to
No,
know.
no. I'm not opposed to what you're saying. I'm just
Mhm.
saying, let's just give me until the next meeting.
Okay.
That's all I'm proposing. 'Cause
Okay,
I
and
actually
I'm
like
only,
her idea because I thought that was,
Yeah.
when you said it, it's perfect.
I'm just looking at the calendar and
Yeah.
I'm getting a little nervous.
I
That's
just
me.
I just don't want to say no to them because we already reached out and they're in the process of trying to, because we can always say one instead of two.
Okay, yeah,
So
that's all I'm
I'm
saying.
saying,
Maybe we
yeah.
could do that. Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, motion to adjourn, but before we adjourn, I just want to say congratulations, Ms. Dominguez. It's a pleasure to have you up here and look forward to working with you. And in the words of Burke, motion to adjourn.
Can I have a second? Second, Commissioner Bass, we are adjourned. Thank you. Have a great evening.